It's 11 p.m. The exam is tomorrow. You've read the same page 4 times and you still couldn't tell me what it said. Your highlighter is dry. Your coffee is cold. And somewhere in the back of your head, a voice is saying, I should know this by now. Here's the thing nobody tells you. It's not that you didn't try hard enough. It's that you were trying the wrong way the entire time. By the end of this video, you'll understand a method Japanese students have used for generations. One that doesn't involve more hours, more highlighters, or more suffering. And the last part of this method is the reason some students barely study the night before and still walk into the exam calm. I'll get to that one. But first, you need to understand why cramming was never going to work for you in the first place. Your brain has something called a forgetting curve. Within 24 hours of learning something new, you lose most of it. Not because you're careless, but because your brain is designed to delete anything it doesn't think it needs again. Cramming floods your brain with information it has no reason to keep. So the information feels familiar at 11 p.m. and it's gone by 9 a.m. That's not bad luck. That's biology doing exactly what it's built to do. Think about the last time you crammed for something, maybe a vocabulary test, maybe a history exam. You probably remember the feeling of, yes, I've got this right before you close the book. But if someone asked you the same questions a week later, gone. That gap between I felt ready and I actually remembered. That's the forgetting curve, working exactly as designed. So what do you do instead? The first piece is something Japanese students call Shoshin, the beginner's mind. Sounds simple, but it changes everything. When you sit down to study something you've already read, your brain quietly thinks, I know this, and stops paying attention. Shoshin means studying every topic like it's the first time you're seeing it. Staying curious instead of confirming what you already believe you know. Think of it like walking into a room you think is empty versus walking into a room you know might have something hidden in it. One version of you scans every corner. The other one barely looks up. Most students study like the room is empty. They flip through the same chapter for the 3rd time, eyes moving, brain coasting, because some part of them has already decided there's nothing new to find. Try this tonight. Before you open your notes, ask yourself one real question about the topic, something you genuinely don't already know the answer to. That single question keeps your brain in search mode instead of skim mode. It's a small shift, but it's the difference between reading words and actually absorbing them. The second piece, and this is where most students get it backwards, is active recall. You've probably been told to reread your notes until they sink in. Here's what's actually true. Rereading feels productive, but it barely builds memory at all. What builds memory is closing the book and forcing yourself to remember without looking. Even if you get it wrong, especially if you get it wrong. Picture 2 students studying the exact same chapter on the human heart. One rereads the paragraph about blood flow 3 times until it feels familiar. The other closes the book after one read and tries to draw the entire path of blood through the heart from memory. Gets half of it wrong, checks the book, fixes it, tries again. A week later, guess who remembers more? It's not the one who reread it 5 times. It's the one who struggled through getting it wrong twice. The struggle of trying to recall something is the exact moment your brain decides, this matters, keep it. Skipping that struggle is like trying to get stronger by watching someone else lift weights. So tonight, after you study a page, close it. Write down everything you remember on a blank sheet. Then check what you missed. That gap, that's exactly what you needed to find. Now here's something that might sound completely backwards. You've probably been told that long study sessions show dedication, that sitting for 3 or 4 hours straight means you're serious. But long, unbroken sessions are actually one of the worst things you can do for memory. Your brain doesn't absorb information in a straight line. It absorbs it in short, sharp bursts, followed by rest. Which brings us to the 3rd piece, Kaizen rhythm. Study, recall, rest, repeat. 25 minutes of focused study, a few minutes of active recall, then real rest. Not scrolling, actual rest. Eyes closed, a short walk, even just staring at the wall. That rest isn't wasted time. It's when your brain quietly files away what you just learned. Students who study for 4 hours straight often remember less than students who studied for 90 minutes broken into proper cycles, because the brain was never given a moment to actually file anything away. It was just being handed more boxes to hold, with nowhere left to put them. The fourth piece is spaced repetition. And this is the part that actually beats cramming, not just makes it more bearable. Instead of reviewing everything the night before, you review it on a schedule. Once the same day, again after 1 day, again after 3 days, again after a week. Each time, right before you'd naturally start forgetting it. It's like watering a plant just before it wilts, instead of drowning it once a month and wondering why it died. For short reviews, spread out over 3 weeks, will outperform 6 straight hours of cramming the night before every single time. Not because the total time spent is different, because of when that time happens. So if spaced repetition is what beats cramming, why do so few students actually use it? Because it requires something cramming doesn't: starting early. And that's the real reason cramming exists in the first place, not laziness but waiting. Most students don't fail because they lack a method. They fail because they discover the method on the night they needed it 3 weeks ago. Which brings us to the last piece, the one I mentioned at the start. The reason some students barely study the night before an exam and still walk in calm. It's called Kaizen. 1% better, every single day. Not a longer session, not a more intense one. Just 6 focused minutes, 2 minutes of active recall, 2 minutes of spaced review, 2 minutes of practice, done daily, starting the moment a topic is introduced, not the week before the test. Picture a topic that takes a normal student 6 hours of cramming to barely pass. Now picture a different student spending 6 minutes a day on that same topic, starting the day it was taught. By the time the exam arrives, that's maybe 60 minutes total, spread across 10 days. Less total time, dramatically better recall, because the information was never allowed to leave in the first place. This is the real difference between the student who's drowning in coffee at 11 p.m. and the student who closes their book early and actually sleeps. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's that one of them built the habit, and the other one is still waiting for motivation to show up. So here's what I want you to do. Don't try to apply all 5 of these tonight. Pick one: Shoshin, active recall, the rhythm, spaced repetition, or Kaizen, and use it on your very next study session. Tell me in the comments which one you're starting with. I genuinely want to know. This isn't really about one exam. It's about becoming the kind of student who doesn't have to relearn the same thing 5 times, because they never let it leave in the first place. Kaizen means continuous improvement. Start small. Start today. And if this kind of video actually helped you see studying differently, subscribe to Kaizen Scholar. Every week, we break down another Japanese study method, memory technique, or discipline habit just like this one. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one, because the next video might be the exact piece you're still missing.